As a pastor or church leader, it's no secret that people have opinions. Opinions, especially strong ones, can be hard to navigate as you seek what's best for your church and the people God has entrusted to you. Sometimes differences can often feel like division, but in reality, differences can be a strength. When it comes to embracing a hybrid church model, your staff or board may have a variety of viewpoints. Some may think, of course, we should focus more on reaching our community through digital touchpoints, while others may feel strongly that being gathered in a physical building and focusing on in-person church is what's best for your community. To help your church take a step toward adopting a hybrid church model, we compiled a few of the most common misconceptions about hybrid church you can use as you discuss how you'll embrace hybrid church with your team. Misconception number 1. We're not staffed or structured to do hybrid church. Here's some good news. If you're currently running church services, you have the staff, whether paid or volunteer, to do hybrid church. In fact, you're probably already doing hybrid church to some extent. If you use email or social media, run services online, or host online small groups or events, you're doing hybrid church, whether you realize it or not. Hybrid isn't necessarily about adding to what you're doing. Hybrid is figuring out how to make what you're already doing the most impactful by using tools, technology, and people you already have access to. One of the things we recommend churches do when embracing a hybrid mindset is to stop thinking about church in terms of location, but rather focus on the mission. Ask yourself what over where. Let me unpack that a bit. I had the privilege of being the very first online pastor at Life.Church when we started church online in 2006. Back then, we viewed church online like one of our physical campuses. My team worked to replicate what we were doing at our physical campuses at church online. That's location-based thinking. Now, as our church online team has embraced a hybrid church model, they see themselves as an expression of Life.Church. Church online is just one of the many ways an attender can engage with our church. With this mindset shift, our church online team now partners with other ministry teams to set goals and brainstorm how to lead our church. That's mission-based thinking. Instead of thinking about church online, the team is thinking about the individual and how they can work with other teams here at Life.Church to provide a seamless experience, no matter how people engage with our church. See the difference? This thinking has brought a multiplying effect to our efforts, streamlined some processes, and brought even more strength to our teams. I encourage you to spend some time together as a team and ask, what's our goal right now? What are some ways we can accomplish it? As you dream together, mentally erase any lines that currently exist between your physical and digital experience. Prioritize the best ideas, those with the biggest impact and the lowest amount of effort, and you'll likely find a great mix of in-person and digital connection points that will serve your attenders well. Misconception number 2. Our people need relationships, and there's really no way to do community digitally. Yes, people need relationships. God created us for relationships and for community. But we have to stop thinking physical versus digital, because digital expressions aren't created to replace in-person relationships. They enhance them. In fact, if you think about it, your strongest relationships are hybrid. Let me repeat that. Your strongest relationships are hybrid. Think about your strongest relationship. Maybe your spouse, your best friend, parent, or a child. Do you communicate and connect in person only? Or do you use a variety of digital tools to enhance your relationship? My wife, Christy, and I have an amazing relationship, and through digital tools, we're able to stay connected and engaged throughout the day. Whether it's a text message or a FaceTime call or seeing what she shares on social media, we're connected even though we are apart. Technology doesn't replace our face-to-face connection. It simply enhances it. And I can't imagine not having these touch points, because due to work and schedules, we're physically apart the majority of the week. The same is true for your church community. For the majority of people, they're in a physical church building a couple of hours a week. And that's if they attend church regularly. There are 168 hours in 1 week. So people attend your church 2 hours each week. That means they are connected with your church about 1% of their week. What about the other 99%? Discuss with your team, how can you use a hybrid mindset to build and enhance the relationships in your church? Misconception number 3. Hybrid encourages people to be passive, not active participants in church. For years, the church has measured success by attendance. We know and track attendance week over week and use that to assess the health of our church. While this number is important, it doesn't tell the whole story. God didn't call us to gather people. He called us to go into all the world and make disciples. If making disciples is our goal, we must care more about engagement than attendance. And we must make this mindset shift now. In a recent article, David Kinnaman, president of the Barna Group, said, "The sense of deep-rooted connectedness that most Americans have to a local church is becoming more and more transactional, less and less frequent. Church leaders are going to revert to doing things the ways they've always known them, whereas the population in general and millennials are going to find that this disruption, the pandemic, altered their habits and perspectives on the role and relevance of the church. The gap between the church and society is only going to be larger as we rebuild the church in a post-pandemic world." Hybrid church can help close that gap. And let me be clear, we need to continue to gather people together. Your church services in person and online are very much needed, but we shouldn't stop there. Talk with your team about how your church can equip your people all throughout the week as you provide ample opportunities for them to engage with your church. We covered a lot in that video. As you and your church think about how to embrace hybrid church, know that at YouVersion for Churches, we're building out resources and tools to help you lead and minister in an increasingly hybrid world, including providing connections to your church all throughout the week. To access these resources, visit youversion.church. And we'd love to hear from you. How is your church thinking about approaching hybrid church? Put your thoughts or questions in the comments below.